Yeah. If I die tomorrow, I hope you hear these words. I ain't here to flip no birds or sip no syrup. Hope the future generations can get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
Hey guys, it's Tuesday night.
What's up?
What's going on? What's going on? It's good. It's Tuesday night. How you guys feeling?
You know, Tuesday night is Loki's night.
I feel like we're different levels of like a beard because like Seabass got rid of the mustache. Tone is the infamous mustache. I'm full beard. I don't know what's going on here.
Bro, it is Tuesday night. I am with my boys, and I am drinking fucking Malta on a Tuesday night. Let's go.
Yes, you are.
El Viejo.
Yes, you
Viejo in the house.
Yeah, you wear that mantle with pride, my man.
Absolutely.
Oh, I do. With the So how are you guys feeling? So wait. With the energy popping and all that, I had to spice it up. You guys are ready. We're gonna go through the announcements real quick, and then we gotta bring in our guests because we have a great diet today of joining us at the round. I want to say the table, but there is no round table. It's just around the internet. So welcome, guys. Again, another episode, Nerds Around. So just some quick podcast announcements. If you guys have not been catching up with Catch the Craze, you need to, because we have now. They've done 3 separate interviews, and the last one they just dropped is the one, the only, the mighty Tone from across the hall. So make sure you're going to Catch the Craze. Yeah, it was
a good time. We recorded 3 months ago.
I like some of your predictions.
Yeah, right?
Guys, go there, check it out. Each one of us got a whole 3 series. You just follow the Catch the Craze channel. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Twitch channel. Please support us. Make sure you're following us on Instagram. Make sure you're following us on TikTok. Yes, we are on TikTok now. Oh my God. Yeah, an old man on TikTok. That's what they need, another old man on there. But we are there. Count announcement. So Geek Out Staten Island is happening September 4th and September 5th. September 5th will be virtual. September 4th will be in person. So if you're in the Staten Island area or the New York tri-state area, make sure you go to ghosticon.com to learn more about this convention coming up. Finally, ImbionCon virtual show, August 28th and 29th. Use code Get Nerdy with it to get discounts on VIP experience, as well as if you're a vendor, there's vendor experience too. But the show is completely free. Law, did I say free?
Absolutely free.
Free. The show is completely free for all to attend, all to join. It is a completely free show. We're going to have a bunch of great panels on there. ImbionCon will again be virtual 28th, 29th. There will be some other great things that are going to happen on there. And again, VIP experience. Use code Get Nerdy with it to get some discounts. Finally, make sure you guys are checking out the Nerds Network in the description below to check out all the podcasts and everything, and everybody who we like to support. Check out after the show because we want you to stay here watching. So check it out after. So make sure you're doing that, like and subscribe and support. So how are you guys feeling?
We're good. Let's bring on the guests.
Yes, let's bring on our guests. So the first guest I want to bring out, many of you have seen him on the cosplay scene. We want to congratulate him too because he has just gotten married. Put a ring on it, and he is now in the married life with us. He's joined the married club. The married club. Tone is with me and you on this. But again, he is the perfect guest for today because he has done this very awesome character that we get to see in the show. Give it up for the one, the only Nerdtruth, Jason.
Hey,
yo, welcome back. What's going on?
What's up? Funny you bring up the wife who's hovering around in the background. Much like an Asgardian god of mischief, I'm not very electronic savvy, and I had to rely on her to get me online.
No worries.
You are wearing the appropriate headpiece, and also congrats on the marriage.
Yes.
Thank you.
And again, congratulations. A Marta salute to you.
Thank you.
I
toasted water.
Right. There you go.
Our next guest, we're also breaking him in. This is his first time on Nerds. Got to see this guy at cons, on various shows. It's always great to talk to. He's come through supportive and everything. Last great conversation we had was over the phone. I was going to say Rhode Island, but it was over the phone. We talk about a bunch of great nerdy stuff. Definitely want to have him on the show. We'll show you guys some of his pieces a little bit later once the show comes closer to an end, so you can get an idea of what this artist does, because he makes some great, phenomenal pieces. I want to give it up for the one, the only Justin Hart. Justin.
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight?
Good. Welcome to the show.
It's good to be doing something with art other than teaching little kids. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I like being able to do the stuff too and
cut
show
loose
off.
a little bit.
Say that again?
And to cut loose a little bit.
Oh my God, absolutely. Yes, you can stop crying right now.
This next guest, I think he'll probably co-sign on that. Again, he's been on the show before. He was one of the guests on our very first live on the show. We did a great, awesome creator series with him. He is also working on the second anthology with Comic Book School for Mr. Stupendous because we wanted more. We twisted his arm, told him we wanted more, Mr. Stupendous. We're gonna give it up for the one, the only AA Rubin.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hey, welcome back.
It's
up?
good to be back. It's good to be back.
Happy late Father's Day. So that you're out in Philly.
Oh,
Thank
right.
you.
Happy late Father's Day.
To you as well. Yeah.
So just to announce some people out there in the audience. So what's up, Dave? You're
on, Dave.
What's up, Val? Former
hey, Val.
Hey.
So I'm gonna get right into it with these.
Before we get into it, someone do the thing.
Oh,
someone do the thing.
Wait! Before you do the thing.
I mean, George isn't even here yet, so he's still gonna come in and ask for it. Like he's still gonna bitch about it that I didn't do it. Be like, nah,
listen,
man, you just didn't come early enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So, as you know, on this show, we do nothing but tell the spoilers. We don't have time for non-spoiler and spoiler reviews. Today, we were doing episode 2 of the MCU Loki TV show, The Variant. We found out that Lady Loki is the main antagonist. Is she Enchantress? We don't know. But as we do know, Tony Stark has died.
You know what, Son? Just because you did that, now we're gonna flip and flop with these questions. So I'm gonna move around with these fun questions. But first off, hi Vicky.
Hey,
Vicky.
So we'll
see you 4th of July.
Right.
So Lady Loki, aka Loki, appears showcasing the gender fluid reveal that we saw in episode 1 when they showed Loki's profile. She is a variant plucked. We don't know if she was plucked from the sacred timeline or if she can possibly be a version of Enchantress. We don't know. She has a hate for the TVA. Was even part of what was it? Has she just she hates the TVA, but she also has the ability to also transfer soul, which again, this will get into more with Loki's and explaining more about variants and all that. But I want to get your guys' thoughts of this reveal of Lady Loki in the episode, and we will start with the one, the only Loki himself, Nerdtruth. Go ahead.
Kind of completely expected it. I didn't think they would do I didn't think they would do like the whole Scarlet and Vision, WandaVision thing, and have Vision playing against himself. I didn't think it would be Tom Hiddleston playing another Loki. Lady Loki is kind of like a big thing from the comics. It was either going to be him or it was going to be little kid Loki. The only negative thing I could say about it, and the wife said the same exact thing while we watched the episode 2, is we both wish she wasn't a blonde, because traditionally in the comics it's always someone with black hair, female with black hair, and you would think if it's just an alternate version. See, I don't like the whole DC version of the multiverse where how Brandon Routh is Superman and Tyler, I don't remember Tyler, the other guy, Superman. Yeah, I like the version that is like in every multiverse is Chris Evans playing different versions as Captain America. So I would think in the multiverse it would just be Tom Hiddleston with a different chromosome, so he would still have the dark hair. So that was our only big deal about it. Like we weren't feeling the blonde hair, but other than that, we thought it was what little we got of her. We thought was great.
Justin, we'll move down to you. You're next. Tagged.
So, I mean, it was a pretty cool reveal how they did it. I feel like it was a little obvious just based on what the MCU is talking about doing with Thor and knowing that Natalie Portman's going to be stepping in as Lady Thor. So it was like, oh, Lady Thor, Lady Loki. Okay, why not? I don't know, but how she's screwing up the multiverse, kind of liking it.
Screwing it up, man. Bomb the multiverse. Ari, we're going to tag you in next.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting that they did it very early in the show. It's only episode 2, and it's like, okay, we're going to get this one out of the way now. You all know it's coming. There's been whispers that it's going to be a gender fluid character. We know that it is, and we're going to see it right away, and we'll see how it develops. I think that they revealed it right there at the end of the episode. She leaves, he goes after them. It kind of changes the whole paradigm of the show because he's not working with the TVA anymore, and now you have sort of three entities working against each other. But it's something that, it's something that, it's fine, and we'll see how it develops going forward. Like I think that, I don't think it was unexpected, and I don't think that it had to be in episode 2. We're still setting things up, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, that we know that we're getting still set up at the long haul because I think we have 4 more episodes left. Law, I'm tagging you in. Wait. Tag.
Wherever our hands are supposed to be. I'm still getting used to this swap bullshit. So I'm with Jason. I kind of expected it to be Lady Loki. Was kind of thrown off by the blonde hair, but now people are saying it might not actually be Lady Loki. It might be someone else. But when he also said that it could have been Kid Loki, I'm not dismissing that there could be other variants out there. I feel like there's probably either variants out there that are just in the background that we don't know about yet, or Lady Loki's probably going to try to recruit and grab. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. But yeah, it was one of those expected reveals, but how she's been messing up the timeline and just overall so far being a really, really dope villain. I'm here for it. I'm looking forward to it.
Tone. Take it away.
There you go.
All right, yeah. So to everyone's point, it was pretty much, we all thought it was going to be forecasted. Pretty much all the spoilers, all the other YouTubers, we all knew that Sophia Di Martino was casted, so we figured that was the bunch. To the point of the other Loki, I think we're going to get Old Man Loki. Richard
That's
E.
another
Grant,
possibility. Yeah.
Richard E. Grant is still casted into the show, but we have not seen his character, and there's been speculation that he may be the second variant that may have a part to play in this show. I'm excited to see what her plan is and what her overall feeling towards the TVA is, and maybe what had happened. What's her variant story? So what did she do that makes her a variant and not part of the sacred timeline? And seeing why she's so against the TVA, why she's taking them all out, why she's getting all these charges, and why she just threw bombs 20 different timelines.
Yeah,
which I'm sure we'll get into later, because there's got to be some sort of grand scheme here. I mentioned last week that I think the TVA and the timekeepers, it's all propaganda, and this really isn't the secret timeline for the sake of the galaxy. It's all meant for self-preservation to keep them alive, and that these other timelines are meant to maybe take them out of the fold and kind of figure out who the true enemy is, because Marvel loves to do that, where they give you the one antagonist, but the antagonist who thinks they're the hero, they're trying to pull the screen and show the wizard behind the curtain. So I'm, trying to see what her points are going to be.
Well, I like when you mentioned the bombs, because we're actually gonna give people homework. Because there was just too much stuff to cover with the bombs, because it's they went off in specific timelines, and there was a lot of timelines they went off in. So to see how many to really kind of cover that in the hour, I'm gonna ask people let us know what you guys think. Look at all the different timelines. I mean, some of the timelines have stuff that are relevant to what we've seen so far in the MCU, stuff that has to do with history. So
we can name drop them. We can name drop them. We can name.
I mean, Ego was one of them, but
I have it all up. We can name drop them when we get there.
We'll get there. But it's revealed that the different variants have different powers, which I thought was really cool. It's what they said is how excited that you guys are about that, because again, this is a cool concept that, again, when they showed the different versions of Loki, they're each one had a different power. So we have the show What If coming up, which is pretty cool, coming out after bringing up this whole thing with the multiverse, because What If deals with the multiverse. So we're seeing this version of Loki. How excited are you to see other versions of Marvel characters that we've seen established in the MCU already having different variant abilities? And Ari, I'll let you take away with that one. Start off.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. I mean, I think that the best on-film multiverse so far, at least comics-wise, is Into the Spider-Verse. And if you look, it's not even the same character, right? You got a Miles in one, you got a Gwen in the other one, you got different versions of Peter Parker, and depending, And I think if you think about a multiverse, right, it would make sense for it to be that way. So yeah, I like that that they have different powers. The different variants have different powers. I like this whole subplot they're setting up of who's the superior Loki, and which variant is, because it's not just between the two of them, it's between however many other Lokis there are, however many other variants there are, and it would be the same for any other characters we encounter who may have different powers, who might have been endowed differently through whatever circumstance there was in their timeline. So yeah, I like that they have different powers. I think that they also have an opportunity, because it's a character that's, in addition to being a comics character, is a mythological character, that they can explore some of the abilities that the god Loki has in Norse mythology that may or may not be in different versions of the comic book. So I'm excited to see that as well, because there were a lot of things in terms of shape shifting and different mind games that he can play as well, both all those projection things and things like that. So yeah, I think it makes perfect sense that they have different abilities, that different versions of the same person be different abilities. And it also makes sense that depending on how far or where your timeline branched, that there are some versions that are closer to each other than others, and that there would be a full spectrum of different variants for each person in the timeline that may or may not have the same powers, the same look, the same whatever it is, right? So I think they've done that well, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of it.
Well, we're gonna speak to our own variant, our own resident Loki. Nerdtruth, you're up next.
Besides being a cosplayer, I'm a huge nerd, huge comic book nerd, specifically a huge Marvel nerd. One of the first comic books I bought on my own with my own money was a copy of What If #1 that I remember seeing it at the back wall of a comic store for $25, and I spent the whole summer doing chores at my grandmother's house to earn money to buy it. So I'm really pumped for this. I've always loved alternate universe books, movies, comics. So I'm really excited about it. I thought it was interesting that they gave that they said the variant Lokis had different powers, because again, instead of just having like Tom Hiddleston Loki playing against Tom Hiddleston Loki, it's also not just doing the same power set against the same power set. They're doing against something different to keep the fan base interested in it. So I'm real curious to see if they do introduce more variants. And I didn't even think about the old man Loki. That actually makes a lot of sense with who they cast in the show. I wasn't even thinking about that, but it's interesting to think of what other different powers could be in play against each other. And as far as you guys had brought up with the bombs and the timelines, my thought on it is I've always had, again, being really nerdy, I've always had my own thought on time travel and multiverses. And I never liked the idea that there's that basically you branch off into an alternate version of you for every decision you make. Like, oh, today I wore a blue shirt instead of a black shirt. Oh, today I ate waffles instead of pancakes. Those are different realities. I always felt like time, and this is kind of what they were showing on the show, time and the one true multiverse, I guess, or the one true universe is a stream. And you can drop a pebble in a stream and nothing happens. The stream keeps moving in the one direction. But if you drop a big enough rock, a boulder, it's going to make the path diverge. So that's the same thing with the multiverse. Like, you're not going to get, whether Captain America decides to wear his mask or not wear his mask, two different realities. But if he decides to go fight Red Skull and decides not to fight Red Skull, that creates a bigger divergence. So my thought is that she dropped off these bombs in these different realities, either A, to cause so many divergent paths that it's just going to rip time apart, or B, it's just going to create like a flood and wash time out. And that's what my thought is. Like, as much as our Loki seems like he wants to control the TVA, this Loki wants to destroy the TVA and possibly even destroy all time.
Oh, yeah. And Joseph, wait, God damn it. Pancakes greater than waffles, though. Let's all be real. Love you, Joe. Justin, you are up next with that question. Tagging you in.
So I like the idea of the variants in general, and just what capabilities they can do with it. Being able to mix and match. I mean, I'm a big supporter of the Marvel stuff where they they like to one up themselves time and time again. So I would love to see all of a sudden out of nowhere, one of the variants is Chris Hemsworth, just cause. Like you're looking at it going, oh, they can't do that. And deep down you're like, oh, wait a sec, they could. When they pull these things out, they really put a lot of thought into it. And I like the idea that before I had Disney Plus, I should say, I didn't like the idea that any of the Disney Plus stuff would interfere with the MCU. But now that I'm like on board with it, I want it to just fully interact. I want it going back and forth where characters need to be cognizant of this stuff. I have to wonder where these time bombs went off to and how that has already affected what has already been done in the MCU. So just the idea of playing with time, it's a great concept. At one point, I did gaming and role playing that had to deal with it, and it's always a constant enemy. No matter what. Time travel is good for one thing: going from here to there. That's about it. Don't step on anything. Don't touch anything. Don't mess with anything. It screws everything else over.
We know in Futurama, Fry screwed up the timeline. He became his own grandpa, so we know that.
I'd rather not.
Hey, Joe.
What's up, Joe?
So next up, Tony.
Okay, so with all these variants, geez, man, guys are going all
We're gonna have variant tone, variant law soon.
Bro, you guys do not want. Yes, I'm here for that.
Matt Damon is definitely a variant of Loki that I'm here to see. And
but you don't want any of the nerds to be variants at all.
No, definitely not. I guess I'm kind of on board with what everyone says and seeing and having all of these variants on board and seeing what all the different powers are. I love that we got like the string of all these different Lokis. You got the Sasquatch Loki. You've got from what I saw on I think Screen Crush or Screen Rant, they were talking about Lance Armstrong Loki on the bike, which I thought was great. And just they made a jest of it, showing him the holograms, but like clearly these are entities, and Loki has been the one variant that they have been dealing with consistently. From what we know from the show. So it seems like variant could be a Nexus being in the MCU, not just because he's always going to diverge. And his whole path is always to diverge and mess with the TVA. And potentially Lady Loki that we know, or Enchantress, is just kind of taking this, running with it. And I think trying to just cause another timeline war. I don't think it's really to end. I don't think it's to end the TVA, or I think it's to end, all of time, but really just to kind of give us that timeline war that Miss Minutes was talking about that happened in the beginning of time. And I think that's going to be her whole end game at that point, which could potentially lead us back into Multiverse of Madness. Because I think we've got to find a way to get to Multiverse of Madness. And I thought, we thought it was going to be with just Scarlet Witch and kind of just being with everything that she was creating, but it could just be with the Loki show and how the main antagonist is just bombing everything. And now Doctor Strange and her and whoever else is going to show up in that movie has to kind of figure everything out, which then leads to Quantumania and Kang just being like, what are y'all doing? Y'all messing with my timeline. And now I'm going to come and wreck house. So I think it's all kind of just has a path that's like we're planting seeds from these shows that are just going to lead and evolve into bigger plot points in the movie that I think, to your point, Justin, that these shows are able to do. Like you're able to play with this concept of multiverses in time slowly, and you're not worrying about 2 or 3 2-hour movies. You've just got shows that are kind of picking and choosing and planting seeds. And then you're just, Kevin Feige is just going to harvest and have us all super excited for what's going to happen. And it's going to make sense. For us, it'll make sense, and it won't just feel like it's coming out of nowhere because we know these characters are coming in the future. So they only mean, certain things.
I'm gonna let Lowell lead into this question because I don't want to stay too much on the variants because I know we're probably gonna get into.
I have one hot.
Go ahead.
One hot take based on what everyone's been saying and just something I've been thinking about. That what if the TVA has this whole time created the sacred timeline, and we know the sacred timeline to be true because that's what Why can't the ancient one from Doctor Strange has said and all this other stuff? But I have a feeling that Loki's trying to restore the multiverse. Like there was always a multiverse, and there always should be a multiverse, and they're just against the TVA because the TVA is, like Tone's been saying, doing all this propaganda because it helps them for whatever they need to do. Control is the name of their game, and a multiverse is harder to control than a sacred timeline. Just gonna toss that out there.
Go ahead. Toss that out there because I'm going to actually lead into these next two questions because again, it's who is Ravana's, because it's revealed in this episode that she has another agent who Agent Morbius refers to. I want to get your guys' thoughts of who do you think this other agent is? Rumors are it could be a Mobius. Let Justin, what's arguing this because Tony sneezed his. Who do you think that could be the second agent that Agent Ravana, Judge Ravana, that's what we'll call her, is referring to?
You know what? I mean, I haven't put much thought into it. I like the idea of another version of Mobius, just because it's a Wilson. Maybe get Luke Wilson to do it, just because. Have fun with it. I
co-sign the fuck out of that.
Good. Throw in another Wilson, but even with it, you could have lots of different characters in it. I mean, I have to wonder with upcoming stuff. How does this at all play with maybe Black Widow? Like in the big scope of things, these interact with each other. So where could it be? Is it an agent through there? Is it someone out of the Red Room program? Is it an upcoming X-Men character? Or it could be anything. So it's fun to investigate the clues and get into it, and it's fun to enjoy the ride too.
Oh yeah, because I think it was fun because I think they hinted at some stuff, but there's just so much there. Ari, I'm going to tag you in next with this one. Who do you think it is? You want to speculate on who this agent is? Could it be Kang? Could it be Morbius? Or could it be someone we don't know yet?
I'm not sure who it is, but I think it'd be kind of cool if whoever it is controlling the variant Loki, or thinks they are, the way that Morbius is with this Loki, and they're kind of both working secretly, similarly, but again, ultimately without each other's knowledge. But I did want to go back to something Law said about the multiple timelines, and to remember that Loki is a trickster god, and they work off of chaos, and the more it might not even be an end game beyond that. It's just, I'm going to create this chaos, and then whatever consequences happen for the larger MCU that lead into other things might not even be, because this Loki that we have, the title Loki, he's very concerned with power, but other versions of Loki might be more into just throwing everything into chaos. And then, because often in Loki stories, right, he throws everything into chaos and then Odin has to put it back together, or somebody else has to put it back together. So it could be, I like that idea, and I like that there could be something accidental that happens because, yes, the TVA is all about order and Loki is all about chaos, and really doesn't have to be anything more than that. In terms of a motivation for the variant, and you still could lead into all those other things we're talking about, but not necessarily because they're masterminding it, more so than just that they're just creating a mess out of everything, creating entropy, which is something Loki always does.
Well, I'm going to speculate and throw my speculation in there before I ask Jason. It's going to be a crazy Hulk. We're going to go crazy Hulk with that variant. Jason, who's your pick?
Honestly, I haven't given it much thought. And the main reason why I haven't given it much thought is just because I spent so much time, and everybody did, on WandaVision. It's this person. We're going to see Quicksilver. It's going to be
I'm telling you that
Mephisto. I just feel like Marvel isn't gonna give that to us. Instead of that it could be anyone, it's gonna be no one. That's what they've been doing to us. But if I had to speculate that it would be someone, I was just thinking while you guys were talking, it would be interesting if either it was Kang, or more specifically, the actor that we know was cast to play Kang, hinting at Kang is coming in the future, or since we've already seen Lady Loki, or as I've been calling her, Randy, because she did introduce herself as Randy. So she can control people. Maybe she's controlling someone to be the other agent, and she's been kind of like, as they show that she's had more going on in the TVA for her, whatever her nefarious schemes are. Just thinking off the top of my head right now, that could be interesting. But honestly, I didn't give it much thought because I just I hurt my brain during WandaVision every week with, Reed Richards is coming, and this person, this is that person, and I don't want to do it again. I'd rather just be surprised.
Want to say what's up, Quan?
What's up?
No one.
So after Jason, what Jason said, I'm gonna retcon what I said. I'm gonna go with Mephisto now.
What are you doing?
He wants to buy me a sandwich. That's what he's doing.
Let's face it, Marvel has been hinting at Mephisto anyways. If you judge the comics at all, it's definitely Agent Coulson that's pulling the strings.
There you go. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I haven't considered that it's going to be someone of note. But it'd be interesting to see, like Ari said, I think an X-Men character, someone like who is not as significant to necessarily the MCU current or like the timeline that we have, but is just there for something else later that we all be like, is that who we? And they never dress it. They literally just pop them in for that one scene, and everyone could speculate and hit the ground running with it. And they're just like, yeah, no, it's just some guy. Like, I really want it to be just some guy until like 5 movies down when we're like, no, they didn't. No. Oh, man. So I'm here for that.
So, Arella said Nightmare. I mean, they did mention the Nightmare division in the last episode that Agent Morbius said he'll be more than happy to help Loki blow up. Hi, Arellas.
Yeah. Hello.
So I want to guess this because Tony sneezed his answer. He said Kang.
I mean, it's honestly, it just, we know in the comic books they have a relationship. It just seems like Marvel isn't really one to do anything crazy. Do I think they're going to bring Jonathan Majors in? Absolutely not. I think he's showing up in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It just would be like, he would be the obvious person to say who is she's working with or who she knows if that relationship is canon in the MCU.
Right.
That's it. It could be no one. I don't think it's anyone super crazy that we're not thinking of, though. It's either no one or it's someone we do know. That's it.
Well, I want to point out again, so this way, this is something we can also start with this next topic to talk about. It's about the Timekeepers. So the Timekeepers' name is As, Vort, and Zanith. And it's revealed in this episode, the statue of As. Again, he's in the center, just like in the last episode when we're in the court scene, his face is in the center. But also, too, you also see in the room, his statue is holding his arms out while the other 2 Timekeepers are each holding an hourglass. And even Agent Morbius goes, mentions the odd one out, and again, Ravonna cuts him off. Why do you guys think that? Is there any speculation if this Timekeeper may be the one who is creating the propaganda, or what's
Seabass is really trying to set us down the rabbit hole, and we're all like, we don't want to do it. We don't want to do it.
I'm gonna throw you all down the rabbit hole. I'm gonna start with Jason with this one.
I really don't know. I know there's definitely, they're hinting that there's something going on there. Just the fact that when even Mobius was like, have you spoken to the Timekeepers lately? Like it just seems like there's definitely something going on. There's definitely something being hidden, whether there's only one Timekeeper and it's him and the rest of it is just propaganda, whether I still feel like you can't do time travel and know that Kang is coming up and not having it linked to Kang somehow. You don't have to show the guy, but there's got to be something. I mean, maybe that could be Kang, or as we know, Kang's had many other identities. I think in the Egyptian times he was like Ramatut, something like that.
And he was Immortus.
Yeah, I believe he's also been Immortus. Yeah, so who's to say he's not this guy? But there's definitely more going on with the TVA than what's being presented to us and being presented to us through Loki.
It's so much. Justin, I'm tagging you in.
So I'm not ready to start taking all the breadcrumbs for this. They
Come on, come down the rabbit hole.
they're like, you need to look at this. Don't pay attention to anything else. I get that. Like, I'm not ready to buy into it. From my point of view, I think it looks a lot like Thanos deep down. Just the way that they have the head shaped and everything. Something weirds me out with it, but I'm not ready to direct everything that way because it seems too obvious. It seems like it's the term. It's a MacGuffin, you know, like they want you to look that way just so that you're missing something else.
Ellis has wasn't he a timekeeper at one point? And I believe that he worked as Kang with them. He might have been a timekeeper as Immortus. I'm going to double check that. But I know as Kang the Conqueror worked with them.
There it is.
Damn it, I missed the warning. You got to rewind to the beginning, George. He did it for you. We had the pop up and everything.
I knew it. I knew you were going to come late and you're going to miss it.
Ari, you're tagged in. Come on, give us what do you think about that? Let's go down this rabbit hole. We're throwing the breadcrumbs. Let's all be Alice in Wonderland. Come on.
I mean,
follow the white rabbit.
When you got whenever you have an organization like this, it turns out to be evil. Like it's just like, that. I mean, going back, I think someone was it Long mentioned it before. Someone mentioned it earlier. Like, yeah, they're setting it up. It's already set up not to be a one-on-one antagonist, like good versus evil thing. There's already now out in the field. There's 3 different things, as I mentioned before, and there are 3 different timekeepers as well. So I think something could be going on there. There's always triangulation, and it's very. I think a lot of people have said it's very much like the Time Lords from Doctor Who always end up being evil as well. They always think they're right. They always think they're acting righteously, and then the Doctor's gonna tell them, you guys are messing this up. That's not the way it's got to be. So I'm not sure who it is, but I think it's interesting that we now have three different people with 3 different motives out in the field, between Loki, the variant, and Morbius, and the TVA operatives that we've seen, and then we have 3 different timekeepers as well. So everything seems to be working in 3s. Again, it's very early. I'm not sure who is who or who is working. We don't know enough about him yet. But that's really what I've been thinking about, is all the 3s. And 3 is always a mystical number. It's always a key number when you want to create these drama triangles and things of that nature. So, and people always move around the drama triangle. You always move around from one corner to the other, and step different. It's always 2 against 1, and then you break the alliances. You go 2 against 1 the other way. So I think they're setting up something like that, but I don't know who is in charge of who or who these people are yet.
I'm happy we got Loki coming out tomorrow. Wait, tagging you in now with this one because you were like down the rabbit hole. There we go. We're gonna get it right.
One of these days, I promise. So I don't want to speculate too much on like who the timekeepers are, but to Jason's point, they did say, I heard around from some people on the interwebs that it could be versions of Kang. And he's been running as the timekeepers have been long gone, and it's really him behind the scenes. He's been a timekeeper at one point, and the fact that like the one timekeeper, his position keeps changing, his like hands and what have you, feels like to me that would be the one. That is the only timekeeper. Like there isn't like there's 3 of us. It's one person running the shots, running the show, and these are just the facades, and this is just for show. So whenever whoever they are gets revealed, I'm expecting it to just be one person calling the shots, and the 3 are going to be either versions of themselves, or they're going to be just fluff and smoke. For the sake of having this, grand entity of timekeepers,
Another Quicksilver, maybe? I don't know. Hopefully not. Yes, mind-blowing. We'll continue, especially tonight at 3 a.m. in the morning for some of us. Tone, take it away with this question.
I'll play your game.
I love it when they're defeated.
I'll play your game. Man. So, looking at Aurelius's comment when she was like, "Wasn't he a timekeeper at one point?" I figured it's not my time to go. Let me do a quick search, and I found that people are making the connection between one of the timekeepers that we see in the animation through Miss Minutes. The middle one looks like Jonathan Majors. Like a bit of a silhouette. The way they shaped his head and his face kind of looks like him, and he is blue, and Kang the Conqueror is like bluish purple. So if I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole and say that this is Kang, that would make sense. Talking about the fact that you've got the one timekeeper and then you've got the other two, I do like the idea that it's really 1 is 3, and you have the central one with arms up, kind of just trying to be some sort of way of justice, and then you've got the timekeeper on the left and the timekeeper on the right are just holding opposite ends of an hourglass, one going forward in time, one going back in time, and they are just holding his hand. They are just his left and right hands holding time. So yeah, that is the rabbit hole. That's the soapbox, whatever the hell you want to call it. But I will play your game, sir, today. I don't know if I'll do it next week.
Oh man! So I want a fun one. I want to mess with a fun one here. Because I love the banter between Agent Morbius and Loki, but I want to say, how many of us, just with a quick reply, how many of us want to get this man a jet ski? Ari, come on, we'll leave it down. Yes.
You gotta get him to St. Jersey. I know a spot.
Yeah, you got it. I mean, is there any that he's got to be on a jet ski at some point, right?
Please.
At some point, in some variant timeline, he's gonna have to chase someone down. Like it's gonna be like Loki with the variant floating over the water, and he's gonna have to jump on that jet ski, and he's got to do it.
He's probably not even chasing Lady Loki. He's probably chasing Tom.
Yeah, like for me, it's the same energy as like T'Challa going, "Get this man a shield." It's literally get this man a jet ski. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Like it's definitely gonna happen. And I also wanted to mention, there's also 3 Norns in Norse mythology that control human destiny and all of that. So, being that we are in Loki territory, it could have something to do with that too.
Major replications, but I know we all want Agent Morbius to get that jet ski. I want to see that. I will dress as Agent Morbius. I just I'm looking at Jason like I'm gonna need a Loki, but I don't know if I'm gonna get on a jet ski though, because Tone already knows my favorite jet skis, so I can't swim. So I'm gonna be Agent Morbius with a
just put a life vest on. You'll be
with a life vest.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right. I'll be on a jet ski behind you. You'll be fine.
We can get you floaties. We can do that.
Yeah,
man.
Water.
But I'll lead in with you guys with this one too, because I was reading something that's pretty interesting. It's about Miss Minutes. And hold on, Doc, you gave me a thing here. A Joe Kawasaki should be
Yes. I'm here for
so, Miss Minutes, it's pretty interesting because there's some stuff that hints with Miss Minutes in the show, because you see her face in the elevator on the buttons. Her face is also in one of the little contraptions that they have, the little smartphones. And then when Loki is talking to her, she's kind of hopping and you hear her feet like hitting the desk. And when he asks her, "Are you a real thing?" she goes, "Maybe, maybe not." What do you guys think about that? Do you think that Miss Minutes is actually a real being, or is just some construct? Justin, will tag you in with this one.
So again, we brought up the idea of variants, and variants could have different powers, but what if the God of Mischief is being screwed with? What if one of the variants has the exact same powers, and how's Loki gonna know otherwise at that point? He's in this different world, he's in this different land of the TVA, and he's not well liked. No one likes him. They're just doing their thing and making him seem that much more crazier than he already is.
An elaborate prank against the prankster.
Why not?
Wow. I like it. I'm here for it.
I think we went down that one. Prankster versus prankster. Jason, you're up.
I like that idea. While Justin was talking, I was thinking about how in religion, how like the devil tempts people in different forms. If we are going down this Kang rabbit hole, who's to say that can't be, Kang in just using some kind of like holographic AI form just to screw with everyone, screw with Loki specifically. Because other than that, then it's just, it's just like a Star Trek hologram AI. But it'd be a lot more interesting if there was something more to it.
Ari, I say to you for last time, having to recently written a nice little sci-fi piece that was in a little book that was featured, right? It's called The Gate Media, this anthology. I'm wanting to tag you now in. Like, wait, tag.
We're gonna do this hand placement thing at some point.
So it's easy. It's easy. Watching it, I really thought there's a good possibility that the whole TVA is a construct. Everyone working there is artificial in some capacity. I'm thinking like a Philip K. Dick style, like I'm thinking, type of thing, but that they are all projections. Like you see the librarian and the way that she reacts to Loki. You see some different versions of the various people who are around there, and I'm thinking that maybe they all are, except that Morbius is some sort of gaining sentience himself. He seems to have more. He's almost like an AI who's becoming sentient, and is, he's a little different. But everybody else, I don't. Especially watching, it was more so watching the first episode than the second episode, but that idea definitely ran through my head. In which case, Miss Minutes and everybody else, the guards who give you the tickets and all of the whole business is some sort of elaborate construct. The whole TVA.
TVA is Skynet.
Yeah.
Law.
Oh man, I'm mad that's the one that sent me down the rabbit hole. Like, oh shit. What if they're all? What if like if it couldn't be out of the realm of possibilities that if it's one guy running the show, it's one elaborate like, smoke and mirrors like illusion where everything is fake and it's just like, Miss Minutes, little, whatever. It's almost like the little, cutesy character that ends up being the main person,
big bad,
the big bad, but it's just there. It's just there to be there as eyes on. No one suspects it because it's just there, and it's just oh hey, how's it going? Glad that's not third, but they've been watching the entire time. So that would be pretty interesting. And then also, that whole idea when Mobius and Loki were having the conversation about creation and it, like that whole conversation was amazingly done. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities that a lot of whoever is in TVA was created for the very purpose that they serve. So yeah, I like it. I'm here for it. Damn you, Ari. Damn you.
We have some good nuggets with this one.
Yeah, man.
Tony, jump in. Take us away with this one.
All right. So, I mean, it's hard for me to think that the whole TVA is fake or some sort of illusion or construct of some kind. I do believe that everyone who works there was created by timekeepers, Kang, whoever the hell. I don't think it's humans or whatever being picked up and thrown. I really do believe they are created, and that's what Mobius believes that we know. But it's hard for me to think that it's just built and weird, because if we had just saw the regular little Infinity Stones in the desk, we could have been like, oh, those are fake. But the fact that we saw the one Tesseract that we know is legit and we know works and just completely voided there tells me that this is a true plane of reality that has its own rules, right? But I think also but also back to the point of Mobius and Loki having that discussion. Like, we talk about it's written and it is and it always will be, so on and so forth, that Mobius says in episode 1, but there's no way in hell that conversation that he had with Loki about free will in a lunchroom, where people are not, I don't think people are allowed to talk in there. They're talking and breaking the rules. Like, that's definitely not on Mobius's, strip. So what if Mobius is also a variant of Mobius? right? Like that, because he is spending so much time with Loki. He's getting that whole free will thing and kind of playing with that idea and talking about it. He still believes in his purpose, that he belongs to the TVA and he was created and he'll be there to the end of time, and there's peace, but we all know that, you know, the universe and all that wants to go back to chaos. So, and with the Miss Minutes thing, I think it might be I think it's a mulligan. I think it's just thrown in there. It's interesting to me that the Miss Minutes thing, her jumping like in the real world, is the most digital thing they have in the TVA, because all of the TVA is super analog.
Yeah.
But she's the most digital thing, and she's jumping around doing it. But I think it's a red herring. I think they're just doing it in there to kind of make us speculate, and she's literally there as a training mechanism for Loki to be indoctrinated into the TVA. And maybe that's what her purpose is, because she's a character. She's a cute character to get people comfortable with the fact of what the TVA is, and to get you involved and to get you hooked and to give you, you know, make you believe in the purpose of the TVA. It's not just some, you know, some jerk kind of yelling at you trying to get you in. It's this cute character. Like, how could I not believe Miss Minutes when she's, you know, leading you down the yellow brick road? So that's what I think.
And I want to thank Jason for just sending me this on the side. Right here wait, why is it not showing?
That's amazing.
That's
That's so amazing. I love it.
TJ build stuff. There we go. Yes, that is freaking again.
Oh my
Get
God.
this man a scooter. Get him his jet ski.
Get him a jet ski.
So again, talking about illusions and everything, I thought it was pretty interesting, and this is a great conversation that Loki again had with Agent Morbius when they were discussing going back to the different variant abilities, where they're like talking about illusion magic, where Loki explains to him the difference with illusion casting and duplication, because it seems like the TVA is not familiar with all of Loki's abilities. And we even see something that we haven't seen Loki do is he kind of, this variant kind of shows that he has telekinesis when he summoned a Roomba to smack the shit out of someone in that fake rocks and the evil Walmart, that's what we'll call it, agency. So I want to get people's thoughts on that. Like, do you think that this is just some foreshadowing again with Loki talking about the abilities, the different variants, and the fact that now we've deep dived, like, you know, could this be an illusionary trick to try to trick him and all that's for control? We will lead with Jason with that one.
I mean, it's really interesting, and I thought about this in the first episode, that how it seemed like when Thor first came out and they introduced the concept of Loki and Asgardians, they went out of their way not to go in the realm of magic and explained everything away as like basically that they were aliens, that they're out there in space and they had their own, planet. And it seems like pre-Doctor Strange, Marvel was afraid to embrace magic. And post-Doctor Strange, especially now going into WandaVision, how you went with like, oh, she's a miracle, aka mutant, because we can't say it. But now like she's the Scarlet Witch. They're embracing magic more, and they went out of their way, and I believe in episode 1, to Loki said, I can't use my magic. So if it is magic, it's not really clear what he can and can't do. Like, if you go by the rules of science fiction and fantasy, like, he can really do anything. So summoning a Roomba to him isn't beyond the realm of possibility for, wizards and witches and warlocks that we've seen in other movies. So it's real interesting how they're going to handle this going forward, because on the one hand, you could do whatever you want with Loki. Then you could just, from episode to episode, movie to movie, be like, I need Loki to actually turn into a snake because Thor mentioned it once. Boom, shape-shifting. He's a snake. So I really don't know if I can say it's definitely like a new power or just something that he always could have done. We've just never shown it before. Sorry, I have a cat in the back.
That's all good.
All good.
This is a special guest star. Ari, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to realize who's talking about it, right? Would Loki reveal all the powers that he had? Loki is inherently an unreliable narrator. Everybody knows he's a liar, and yet he still gets away with lying, and that's his best power. He is able to deceive everyone, and someone like that will never, ever, ever put all his cards on the table. You cannot believe him. It doesn't surprise me that he's doing new things. He is in a more desperate situation than we've seen him in a different situation at least, and it would not surprise me if there are all sorts of things that he can do as an Asgardian, as a magic person that we don't know. And yeah, I mean, if you're Thor, Thor is someone who brags about we know everything that he can do, because he will tell you, you know, I can do it, and I'm the mighty Thor, and this is what I could do. Loki is
Strongest Avenger.
Yep, I am the exact right, and I am the exact opposite, right? And so it doesn't surprise me at all. I think it's in character, but I think it's interesting that they have our two main access points to this world are Loki, who we know is unreliable. He's the one who's coming from our world, from our MCU, where we know all the rules, and yet we know we can't believe him. At the same time, we have to believe him because our experience of the events is most similar to him. And Morbius, who's in this, he has some autonomy, but he's in this weird middle manager type field operative phase where he doesn't know exactly what's up either. And there's a lot of speculation involved with him. In one sense, he's a true believer, but in the other sense, he doesn't know what's going on, and he's questioning some things as well. So we have a lot of unreliable narrators and unreliable access points. But to the point about his power, yeah, if you were Loki, would you ever think Loki would tell you everything he could do? He's always got something in reserve.
Justin.
Yeah, it's straight up at that point. It's a character that we know we can't trust. And the right way to say is it's the narrator that's making up the story as he goes along. He's going to let you know when he wants to reveal something. He's going to let you know when it comes out, when he needs to. There's no continuity to it, so he can just randomly pull in these other things, because ultimately he could just be showing things as an illusion anyways. And if he makes you want to see it, that's his true power. We know he's a liar in that sense, and you can't trust. The only thing that you can trust is him, that you can't trust him. So he proves that time and time again. And even with episode 2, they say, it's the line about backstabbing. Oh, I've never backstabbed. Well, he's so proud of the story of backstabbing Thor over and over and over. What are you talking about? We know this is not right. So you gotta just kind of roll with it. At that point, I think it's a great point that Aaron makes with it, that you're talking about Loki, who we know you can't trust, and then we're just supposed to buy into Owen Wilson as our savior, as our what? Like, ultimately, he could be the middle managed devil that you're not supposed to see. So I don't know which way you can really go, but for talking about Loki's power, he's going to keep those cards so close to his chest right there, because what's different about him now anyways, you know?
Oh.
So I'm in agreement with everyone. He's gonna keep the cards close to his vest. He'll be lying through his teeth and smiling on the way to the bank. But now that he's going into other timelines, as we've seen, I'm interested to see, like when he was at the TVA, his powers were essentially nullified. When he got back to the sacred timeline, his powers worked. I'm curious to see how his powers are affected if he's in different places and different spots throughout the timeline. Like maybe his powers are amplified, maybe his powers work a little bit different, a little wonky, depending on which spot in this new branch timeline he's in. So I'm here for that.
Tony, take us away.
All right, I'm gonna go a little different from everybody. I like what everyone's saying. I'm gonna go a little different. I think that this is a measurement of the TVA. So we talk about him talking about the difference of these two specific magics, and Loki gives a full-blown college course TED talk about these two different types of magics, and everyone there is looking at him like deer in headlights. This tells me that the TVA gives no damns about any sort of research about any of the variants that they are trying to get. They are more about clip the branches, ask questions later. And yeah, they've dealt with various different Lokis, but this Loki, Lady Loki, Old Man Loki potentially could be some of the most powerful variants that they've ever had to deal with. And because they don't have any sort of understanding of how they work, they consistently fail over and over and over and over again. And that's why Mobius was like, I got to try something new. And that's why he brings in this Loki to help him out. So I think, sure, I agree. Loki's keeping all of his powers to his chest because that's him. We can't trust him, but we can't trust but to not trust him. Like I'm all here for that. But it just shows the incapability of the TVA to handle a powerful variant. They have all these things. They have everything he said. They have the reel of his lifeline, but they can't handle him because they refuse to understand who he is, what he can do, and it's screwing them over and over again. So, yeah.
I like it.
This has been another. Before we go, though, I do want to tackle. So we did mention the bombs in the beginning. I want to get everyone's speculation on what they think. And you said, Tone, that you had the list. So read the list, please, if you have it.
I got you right now. So we know that bombs drop in Niflheim, which is where Hela's from. In Nowhere, the head of the Celestial, Vormir, where Black Widow went splat, Asgard. Sakaar,
damn, Toad.
Ego, Titan, Hala, Xandar, Jotunheim, and various places on Earth. So most of these intergalactic locations have pretty big implications of what they mean in the MCU and what we potentially could get. Are we gonna get Loki in various places? Is the Red Skull no longer going to be the keeper of the Soul Stone? Is Hela going to be getting out of her home? Is a variant of Loki going to be raised by the Frost Giants? There's so many questions. There's so many things that we can see within the last 4 episodes. But I think what could also be interesting if they play with time in a certain way. So sometimes when you see time travel movies, the thing that happened in the past, you just kind of live it as your present until you live going into the past as your present. So the things that we know that happened in the Sacred Timeline potentially could have been caused by the time bombs that went off in Earth in 2055. But they don't, take place until, but we didn't know that until the show showed us that. So I think that could be something that they do. And really Lady Loki is the one who kind of orchestrated the entire MCU grand timeline. I don't know, but that's kind of my simple theory. And not to go too heavy because I need to see episode 3 before you start going nuts.
Anyone else want to add to that theory for Tone? Who wants to take it?
I still go with the theory that the Sacred Timeline is this like fabrication by the TVA to have one timeline because it's easier to control because they like order. And originally there should be multiple branches and there should be multiple timelines and multiverse adjacent things.
Justin,
so real quick, how's this deal with what the Ancient One says? I'm just going to throw it back to you guys because the Ancient One talks about one timeline, and when you screw something up, it branches off to a new timeline. We saw that.
Yeah, I mean, she really. So I think it'll be interesting to see what they do, but I do know that the one thing the one pinnacle there was that an Infinity Stone was screwed up. So it was always like because the Infinity Stones are what keep the timeline going, even though Loki says the Timekeepers keep the timeline going, right? So It's really like who's telling the truth. So is it, and maybe we'll find that out. Like who was right, Sorcerer Supreme or these 3 lizard people?
Ari.
No, I agree with Law. I think it's setting up for Loki making this chaos out of a single timeline. And I think that on a meta level, it allows you to do all the what if stories, and it allows you to do things that are not canon. And if you want to come out with a random show in 5 years that doesn't fit into whatever you're doing with the MCU at that time, you could do a mini series in branch timeline, whatever it is, and just tell a little story there. They used to do things like that all the time in various comics, where you'd have these little things that weren't that weren't canon, and just tell your story that you want to tell, your little self-contained story, and move on. I think also I like the idea, like I said before, of the trickster creating chaos without fully understanding the consequences of that chaos, and the TVA obviously representing order. And I think that's the consequent you can deal with the consequences of that chaos later in other things, whether it's Doctor Strange, whether it's other Marvel shows, whether it's whatever. They might not even know yet, because you're creating theoretically infinite possibilities, right? So it leaves you open to do all these things. But I think that the main conflict, I would agree with Law, is between order and chaos, between one timeline and many.
Yes.
So I will give up. Sorry, this way. I'll give you
that way. I got you.
All right, this way. Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
There we go.
We did it, guys.
we'll end it with the agent of chaos himself in the corner right there, Nerdtruth, if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I would say besides where, it would also be important when, because like, is it Vormir when Thanos was there? Is it Vormir when Black Widow and Hawkeye is there? Is it Vormir when the Red Skull apparently first got there? Unfortunately, it's only 4 episodes, so I don't think they're gonna 4 more.
I got you with years. If you want years, I got you with that too.
All right, well,
That's
a much deeper rabbit hole.
He's gonna hook you in that rabbit hole.
I got that sidebar chat. Watch.
I definitely want to go through that when there's more time. But the point that I was getting at is that, going back to what I had said before about major points in time in the multiverse, again, if Randy, Lady Loki, is trying to destroy time, it would make sense to go to key. Like they always say, if you could go back in time and kill Hitler, would you do it? That would create an entire new timeline, because you're taking out Hitler. So what if she's trying to take out the formation of the Avengers, take out Thanos putting together the Gauntlet, take out all these key events that are either going to completely alter time for to the end of it, or completely destroy it. It could be playing into that. Like, maybe she's trying to specifically bomb out these key points in time. Again, going back to that, there's only 4 episodes left. I do think that they are going to visit some of this, because just based on the trailers, there's that one scene in the trailer where everybody was saying, "Oh, look, it's Black Widow on Vormir." That is probably, now we probably know it's Lady Loki, but it looks like they are going to Vormir. And there was I'm pretty sure there was a shot of a destroyed New York with a totaled Avengers Tower in the background. That I'm not sure of all the key locations on Earth, but again, maybe she bombed out the Battle of New York from the first Avengers movie. So in these 4 episodes, it is possible they might visit these key moments in time where these bombs were dropped. And, maybe, again, these are creating timelines that, for whatever reason, she wants it. A timeline where there are no Avengers, a timeline where there was no Infinity Gauntlet. So it'd be interesting to see this list and these locations keyed up with times and dates, and how it coincides with what happened in the movies.
I love it. I thank you guys for coming. I mean, before also too, we do gotta go. I'm doing the Puerto Rican goodbye right now, but I do want to give Justin Hart a little bit of the floor to showcase some of his stuff. I'm gonna give you guys some time to showcase your stuff. So Justin, I'm going to bring you up. We will put you in the solo layout. So go ahead, Justin. The floor is all yours. Show off some of them stuff. So that beautiful bean footage. You're on mute.
I am on mute. I'm no longer. So I with shows being suspended, I've had lots of time to work on new stuff at the same time. I get lots of requests for the old stuff. So at this point, like, I'm going to set up my cam a little different. And this may take a sec. There we go. So this happens to be a new piece that I'm working on. These are just some of my test copies. But the bigger image that I'm working for would be the lineup of the 7 Evil X's.
Nice.
Nice.
All right. One of the what had kind of started me on this route was being able to see the depth in things and see where I wanted to go with it. So I had worked originally with the Civil War cover, and the major thing with Civil War was, yes, I love the cover of Cap and Iron Man staring each other down, but I always thought it was more them being divided, that rather than staring each other down, they were somewhat back to back and that they were turning away from things. So I had done it as 2 separate pieces where it's the Captain America side and then the Iron Man side. And I remember my first bigger show, I came in like blazing with this, that I had so many pieces ready to go and for sale, and I think I sold 1 of each, and it was like, wow, this is not good. And now really I go to a show and I'll have one of the little pieces. This is a 9 by 12 frame, just to put this into perspective. So I'll bring one of these. This happens to be 20 layers deep on that. So where there's the actual edging, this is all done through cutting by hand, no less. People are always saying, "Oh, I love your 3D printed stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, no, you go somewhere else." That's not really what I do with that. So I'll go to shows maybe with one of these pieces, and then when it sells, it's sold for the show. And at that point, I'll take commissions. And my commissions on these, I do the larger size of 11 by 17, and I do it pretty much based on what people are looking for, size-wise. So the smallest I've started is at like I think I did a piece at 8 layers for one of these, and it was next to nothing for the big pieces. And I've been going like 500, 750, 1,000 in those sort of increments. But the big thing with these pieces, with the large scale, is they're signed and numbered so that it's an exclusive thing by any one numbered piece. So I just sold a commission for a 19-layer piece. So that was number 1 of 5. When I'm done with those 5, no one's going to get a 19-layered piece, and that's how I'm doing it at that point. So there is quite a bit of exclusivity on that, and the turnout, the twist on it has been very nice. More people are willing to get something that's made for them, as opposed to just there. So that would be the Captain America side. From there, I do a lot of the Marvel stuff, but that's also because the live action stuff works so well. So I did up the Defenders next. And
The depth you captured.
Say that again?
No, I like the depth that you captured again.
Oh, thank you. So unfortunately, this being the black and white, you get the glare all over it. And again, I think this is a 12-layer piece, if I remember correctly. So I'll usually go to the show with one of these, and when it sells, it sells. Again, I have these in certain stores, but when I sell out, it's at that point commission based.
Thank you, Justin.
No problem.
Thank you for that, sharing that. And then I'm going to let Ari plug in the book, because your book just came out too. You were featured in a book in Skullgate Media, and you're working on the comic book school again with the next anthology. I'll let you plug that in a way as well.
Well, yes, I have a number of things. I've been in a number of anthologies recently. There's Under New Suns, a shared world sci-fi anthology from Skullgate Media. Sebastian mentioned, I'm also co-editing the Comic Book School Panel 2 anthology, The Time In. I'm going to have a Mr. Stupendous story in there. Sebastian's helping me out with that. I have a Gothic poem coming out in July in a magazine called Love Letters to Poe. It's a Horror Writers Association professional level credit magazine. So I'm excited about that. It's really like, if you like Poe's poetry, it's in that style. And I just found out recently that the Remnants anthology, which is post-apocalyptic horror, that I have a short story and a prose short story. This is the old version. It went out of print. It just got picked up by a new publisher. It's going to be released with some new stories as well before the end of the year. So there's a lot of things going on, writing in a whole variety of different genres and different books. A number of things that I already know are coming out. So the Skullgate Media, the Under New Suns, that's already out. The Comic Book School anthology will be out by New York Comic Con. Remnants, we don't have an exact release date for, but it should be later this year. And my poem, The Widow's Walk, which will be in Love Letters to Poe, that comes out at the end of July.
Awesome. Thank you again, Ari.
Yep.
And finally, guys, let's give a big congratulations because, again, Jason is newly married. Congratulations again, brother.
Yes,
again,
sir.
happy for you guys. This way, again, you just show you off of what a badass cosplayer Jason is. I have this right here. Yes. This was recently at Garden State Comic Fest. Look at the couple right there playing off Donna Troy and Nightwing. Classic. Again.
Very nice. Very nice.
Got you on mute, Jason.
Yep, that's the wife.
No, again, you guys are an awesome duo. You guys, again, we thank you guys also too for helping with the show last year. Again, happy you guys having them back this year. Glad to finally have you on the show as well. I hope you guys had a great time. Thank you for coming on Nerds at Around. Hope you guys enjoyed the next episode of Loki, which is coming out at 3 a.m. tomorrow.
Just a couple hours.
Just a couple hours. Again, this has been your boy Sebastian.
It's your boy Law.
Oh,
He's your boy Tone from across the hall.
Let's everybody mute each other.
It always happens to one of us.
Get that out there.
Have a good night, guys.
Later.
Stay nerdy.